Let's be honest. You didn't click on this because you want motivation. You didn't click on this because you want someone to tell you to hustle or to stay positive. You clicked on this because you are tired. And I don't mean the kind of tired that sleep fixes. I mean a fatigue that has settled into the marrow of your bones. You are looking at your life, at the projects you started, the relationships you watered, the hill you have been climbing for what feels like years. And for the first time, you are thinking about letting go of the rope. You are sitting there, perhaps in your car after work or in the blue light of your phone screen at midnight, and you are doing the math. You are calculating the energy input versus the reality output, and the equation isn't balancing. The world tells you that this feeling is a failure. They tell you that you just need to push through. But they are wrong. Psychologically, you have arrived at what we call the 0 point. And while it feels like the end, it is actually the only place where the real work can begin. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding this specific frequency of emotion. They distract themselves. They buy things, they scroll, they drink, they do anything to drown out the voice that whispers, "This isn't working." But you're here. You're listening to it. And that separates you from the noise. Today, we're going to look at the psychology of giving up. Why does it feel like you are moving backward? You have been putting in the work. You have been showing up. You have been the good person, the hard worker, the supportive friend. And yet, the external reality refuses to shift. In fact, it often seems to get worse right before you expect a breakthrough. This is not bad luck. This is physics. Think of an arrow. Before it can launch forward, it must be pulled back. The tension, the strain, the backward motion, it is all necessary to generate the kinetic energy required for the release. You are currently in the pullback phase, but because you are living inside the arrow, all you feel is the strain. All you feel is the distance from the target increasing. Your brain, which is an ancient biological computer designed for energy conservation, interprets this tension as a threat. It screams at you to stop. It tells you that the discomfort is a sign that you are on the wrong path. But here's the cold psychological truth. Comfort is the language of stagnation. Discomfort is the language of growth. If you were on the wrong path, it wouldn't be this hard. It would be easy, because it wouldn't require you to evolve. The fact that you want to quit is the validation you have been looking for. It means you are pushing against the boundary of your current capacity. You are expanding, and expansion hurts. There is a deeper, more esoteric reason why you feel like walking away from everything. It is because the version of you that started this journey is dying. We like to think of ourselves as a single, continuous entity, but we are not. We are a succession of selves, dying and being born, over and over again. The you that started that business, or entered that relationship, or committed to that goal, that person had a specific level of understanding. They had a specific set of beliefs. They had a specific operating system. But you have outgrown that operating system. The fatigue you feel is the friction between who you are becoming and who you used to be. You are dragging the corpse of your old self up the mountain with you, and it is heavy. When you say, "I want to give up," what you really mean is, "I want to stop performing." You want to stop pretending that the old masks still fit. You are exhausted by the inauthenticity of maintaining a persona that no longer resonates with your soul. This is the old soul dilemma. You see the game for what it is, You see the strings, you see the scripts that everyone else is reciting, and you just can't bring yourself to say the lines anymore. So, don't give up on life. Give up on the avatar. Let the old version of you die. Let the expectations die. Let the need for external validation turn into dust. What remains after the fire is the gold. Now let's get clinical. We have to talk about dopamine and the reward prediction error. Your brain is wired to predict outcomes. When you take an action, your brain predicts a reward. If the reward comes, you get a hit of dopamine and the behavior is reinforced. If the reward does not come, dopamine levels drop below baseline. This drop feels like physical pain. It feels like despair. But here is the glitch in the system. The most valuable things in life, mastery, deep connection, true legacy, operate on a delayed return schedule. The gap between the action and the result is not minutes or hours. It is years. Your biological programming is not built for years. It is built for the immediate. It wants the berry now. It wants the validation now. When you feel like quitting, it is simply your biology throwing a tantrum because it hasn't received its cookie. It is a primitive signal. It is noise. The elite minds, the ones you admire, the ones who seem to possess an unending reservoir of will, they feel this too. The difference is that they do not listen to it. They understand that the feeling of emptiness is not a stop sign. It is a toll booth. It is the price of admission to the next level. You have to learn to detach your performance from your feelings. You have to become a machine in the best sense of the word. A machine does not care if it is raining. A machine does not care if it is tired. A machine has a directive, and it executes. You must learn to look at your emotions as weather. It might be raining in your chest right now. There might be a gale force wind of anxiety blowing through your mind. But you are not the weather. You are the mountain. The weather passes. The mountain remains. One of the hardest parts of this phase is the loneliness. When you are about to give up, you look around and it seems like everyone else is doing fine. They are smiling in their photos. They are celebrating their wins. They seem to have found the manual that you are missing. But you know, deep down, that is a curated reality. It is a gallery of lies. You are lonely because you have stepped out of the herd. You have stepped away from the warm, numbing comfort of mediocrity. The air is thinner up here. It is colder, but the view is real. You are building something that requires a foundation most people cannot comprehend. You are digging deep into the earth while they are building shacks on the sand. Of course, it takes longer. Of course, it is darker down there in the trenches. But do not mistake solitude for error. You are in the incubation period. Think of the seed. It spends its most critical moments buried in the dirt, in total darkness, under crushing weight. If the seed had a consciousness, it would think it had been buried alive. It would think it was the end. But the crushing weight is what cracks the shell. The darkness is what triggers the growth. So here we are. You have two choices. Choice A, you listen to the fatigue. You drop the rope. You walk back down the mountain to the village where it is warm and easy. You can numb yourself again. You can rejoin the chorus of people who complain about their lives but do nothing to change them. But you won't do that. I know you won't. Because if that were enough for you, you wouldn't be watching this. You wouldn't be the kind of person who analyzes their own mind. You wouldn't have that vibrating dissonance we talked about. You are cursed with the need for more. You are cursed with the potential that demands to be realized. So that leaves choice B. You stay, you stand in the rain, you let the feeling of giving up wash over you, and you do not move. You look the void in the eye and you say, I am still here. You stop looking for the result. You stop checking the scoreboard. You commit to the process, not the prize. You decide that even if the applause never comes, even if the money never comes, even if the recognition never comes, you're going to do this because it is who you are. Because the alternative is to betray your own soul, and you have already come too far to do that. The night is always darkest just before the dawn. It's a cliche, because it is true. You are standing in the pitch black, but that just means the sun is about to break the horizon. Do not close your eyes now. Do not turn away. Hold the line. The version of you that is waiting on the other side of this darkness is the one you have been dreaming of meeting your whole life. They are waiting for you. Don't let them down. If this video found you in the dark, and if it gave you the spark to hold on for one more day, hit that like button. It helps this signal find the other lost travelers out there. And if you want to understand the map of your own mind, if you want to build a fortress that the world cannot shake, subscribe. And remember, the pain you are feeling is not the end of your life. It is just the death of the cage that was holding you back.